All right, guys, we just had the big Pixel Watch 2 and Pixel 8 event. I'm going to try to run through everything they announced as quickly as I can because my camera is actually acting weird and I don't know how long it's going to hold out for. Let's start things off with the sequel to the watch I'm currently wearing, the Pixel Watch, of course, we were talking about, the Pixel Watch 2. It looks very, very similar to the original Pixel Watch with only a handful of very small changes, one of which is the crown does look a little bit different. The charging now uses these pogo pins. It's magnetic still, so it'll snap into place. Other than that, not like a ton changing with the Pixel Watch on the outside. On the inside, though, we are getting a brand new system on a chip. It should be much, much, much faster than before. It is the W5 chip instead of like a 27-year-old Exynos chip, which is what it was using before. It has new sensors, which are supposed to be 40% more accurate than before. So if you're being very active, you're moving around a lot, it's tracking your heart rate, it should be much better at doing that. It also has temperature tracking, which is something that could be useful for many different what would you say, implementations. They also apparently have stronger glass on the outside, which is good because apparently these things are very, very difficult, if not impossible, to repair. I will say mine has held up really well, but stronger glass is always better. They're bringing safety check over to the Pixel Watch, which is really, really useful. Let's say you're going out on a hike or something like that. You can hit a couple buttons and boom, safety check is running. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it so that in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever, it's going to ask you, are you okay? If you fail to say yes, it's going to give your location to your emergency contacts to let them know where you just were and you haven't actually checked in, alerts them, helps you be safer out in the world. That is something I think is very, very cool. Battery life is meant to be improved as well. They're saying 24 hours on a charge with always on display turned on. With my Pixel Watch, I'm getting closer to like 36 hours, but I don't use always on display. I have it set so that when I lift it, it wakes, and that's how that works. I don't have AOD on. Maybe with AOD off, we're going to get close to 2 days, maybe? Question mark. I think that would be pretty cool. They also spend a lot of time on stress tracking, which honestly looked better than I expected it to look. There was some pretty interesting stuff going on there. And if I do indeed end up with a Pixel Watch 2, which I'm hoping that I will, I'm definitely going to want to check some of that stuff out as well. And there's also some other improvements integrating Google Assistant with your health tracking. How about the ability to actually just ask Google Assistant, what's my heart rate, or different information, things like that about your health tracking. It'll be able to actually give you that information. Now, I should have left this on the screen. We are looking at $349 for the Pixel Watch 2. Of course, that is for the non-cellular model. And if you want to toss your old Pixel Watch in, they'll give you $150 towards the new one, which is okay. I just realized I had Dark Reader turned on, so these colors probably looked really, really weird. This is what it actually looks like. Moving on, though, to the Pixel 8 Hazel, Obsidian, and Rose. This device is $699. And on the outside, not a ton of changes either. We've kind of moved the camera around a little bit. You'll see that more on the Pixel 8 Pro, where the telephoto is moved into the same circle as the other cameras. Of course, this thing is running the Tensor G3, just like the Pixel 8 Pro. We have 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gig of storage. Of course, you can do 256 for a little bit more money. We have a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, which fast charges at 30 watts. But maybe the biggest change for the hardware, other than that G3 processor, which should be much, much faster, somewhere in the realm of a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 or maybe a Gen 2, somewhere in that kind of ballpark, is the fact that we now have a 6.2-inch screen, which is capable of going between 60 and 120 hertz. That's big for the Pixel 8, but also a peak brightness of 2000 nits. Google is calling this the Actua display, and that is a big boost in brightness compared to their other devices. This thing should be great to use outside, even in direct sunlight. With the Pixel 8 Pro, which you have in Bay, Obsidian, and in Porcelain, that Obsidian color, I'm sorry, the Bay color, I think looks absolutely fantastic. We have a lot of the things being true. You can see here that the cameras have all kind of migrated together, like I mentioned, but now we have a 6.7-inch screen that can go between 1 and 120 hertz, which should help battery life quite a bit. And yes, that screen is indeed flat. You're sitting still, can drop to 1 hertz. 1 hertz, 1 hertz. Do you pluralize hertz? Is hertz plural? There's no way to know the answers to these questions. We also have 12 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, going up to 512, which is good for some people. And of course, that same Tensor G3. The hardware improvements are, I think, going to be sneaky good, right? Because that Tensor G3 is going to be a lot faster than the G2, which I'm hoping that quickness goes not necessarily to making apps open an eighth of a second faster, because everything running the G2 is already really well optimized and really, really fast. I'm hoping this leads to better battery life, but we're going to need to test that stuff before we can really say what's going on there. Did I mention that it's a 5,000 milliamp hour battery that charges at 30 watts? I don't think I did. Now I did. Now, of course, Google spent some time talking about some of the other older camera and software features that they've already had. Things like crash detection, things like photo unblur, things like magic eraser, things that are going to be here as well. But there are also some new really insane things coming. And I'm going to take you to this blog post because I just don't think there's a better way to show it. We already talked about this from a bit of leaked marketing. We're going to talk about it again. Best take. You're taking this picture here, and a lot of people will do this. You'll snap several pictures all right there together, hoping you're going to get the best shot. But people's faces are moving. They're making faces. They're blinking, whatever it might be. Best take is going to allow you to actually, as you can see here, identify the faces and then choose between the different expressions that it caught in those shots and then mix and match to get the best possible shot. That is really, really cool. How about the Magic Editor? It's not just Magic Eraser, right? We're also going to take this person and move them into the middle of the shot, and it's going to generative AI fill in the missing data off the end of that tint. That is some of the mind-blowing stuff, personally, I've ever seen done on a phone. This is insane, and apparently the Tensor G3 is way, way better at doing this AI stuff than the Tensor G2. They said 150 more tasks at a time or something like that. Basically, it's way better at this stuff. Does this mean this stuff will never come to our lowly Pixel Folds running the G2? I certainly hope that's not what it means, but that is unfortunately entirely possible. And then we also have the Audio Eraser, which looked way cooler than I thought it was going to. They play this clip here of a baby and there's a dog barking in the background, and it absolutely wiped that dog barking out completely. All you could hear was the baby. I'll play the clip for you now. How impressive was that? Really, really cool. And then last but not least is zoom in and enhance. This is some CSI TV show stuff. Zoom in and using AI to enhance it after the fact. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. Now, some of this stuff is going to be coming a little bit later. So Best Take, Magic Editor, and Magic Audio Eraser, or Audio Magic Eraser, will be available on the 8 and 8 Pro starting on October the 12th. This Zoom thing is coming a bit later. And if we're talking about things that are coming a bit later, we can also talk about the fact that 7 years of OS updates are being promised for the Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro. Yes, they both did go up in price. $699 and $999 are their base prices, but you're getting 7 years of OS updates now with these devices, which is incredibly impressive and something I hope that the entire industry moves towards. Not necessarily matching, but at least get as close as you can, because these phones are really expensive, and to be honest, they should just last a long time. If I've got one big complaint right now, it's that if you're going to buy these devices, let's do unlocked and let's do some trade-in. So let's look at the Pixel 7 Pro. What are they going to give you for that in good condition? $385. It's actually $420 on the Pixel 8 Pro. We'll go to the 8 Pro just so that we can get the highest numbers, because even those highest numbers are just not good enough. What about the Z Fold 4? That thing's really expensive. What are you going to get? $314. Google, you got to do better on your trade-ins. It's just not good enough at this moment. I do also want to really quickly mention a few things they touched on with regard to the Pixel Buds Pro as well as to the Pixel Folds. With the Pixel Buds Pro, even clearer voice calling. Apparently this update is going to significantly improve call quality. I don't really ever take phone calls anymore, but apparently this is going to help. Hands-free conversation starter. Basically what this is if you're wearing your buds and you're talking, once it hears you talking, it's going to lower that volume and turn on transparency mode, so you don't have to fiddle with anything. You can just simply start talking. They also have faster audio transmission for gaming, so lowering that latency. Suggestions for hearing wellness. If you're cranking up that volume, it's going to try and tell you you know, maybe calm down a little bit. Pixel Buds app for your Chromebook. That'll be cool to kind of help make these things work more synergistically than before. And we have some new colors like this bay blue color, which I really do like. In regard to the Pixel Fold, that dual screen translator application where you're looking at one screen, they're looking at the other screen, and you're both talking and it's automatically translating, that should be rolling out now. So good to see that finally arriving. But overall, guys, that's it. That's what was announced for the most part. I'm sure there's things that I'm missing. If there's something that I didn't talk about that you thought was incredible, drop it in a comment down below. I'm trying to get this done and the information out distilled as much as humanly possible. So again, sorry if I missed some things. I'm going to drop links into the description and the pinned comment down below to these devices. The Google Store links are not affiliate links, okay? So if you buy it through that, I get nothing from that, but maybe you want to use their financing, totally fair. If you are planning on buying it already, though, and you use the Amazon link or the Best Buy links down there, I will earn commission off of that. I would greatly appreciate it. But again, don't inconvenience yourself. Just buy it there through my link if you were already going to. That's really all I ask. Don't buy a phone because you're like, it's going to help my favorite YouTuber. Don't do that. But yeah, guys, like I said, drop down below. What was your biggest thing? What were some things that really stood out to you? I'd love to hear about it in those comments. Subscribe before you go. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friend.